Hey, friends! I'm Jesse Fisco.
And I'm Ambry Fisco.
As founders of several successful businesses, we've experienced absolute joy and satisfaction working together to build our empire.
Our journey started off as a small business idea and has launched into a multi-million-dollar portfolio. It would have never been possible had Jesse and I not understood the key principles of making it all work together. But it has not been easy.
We found ourselves in the trenches trying to balance real life with business life while maintaining our strong commitment to creating an amazing marriage.
And we've emerged in a beautiful way together. This podcast was created to help you do what we've done, build an amazing marriage together while maintaining balance between life and business.
So here we are. You're listening to the Matrimonial Merger, a couple's guide to balancing life and business.
Let's get started.
What is up, guys? Jesse and Ambry here. Hope you've had a fantastic week. It's another Wednesday. Can you believe that?
No.
Oh my gosh.
The weeks fly.
The weeks fly. We had an amazing client appreciation event last Thursday, and that was really cool for one of our companies. And yeah, like you said, the weeks just fly.
Literally.
Out of control. But
I feel like every month I'm like, oh, it's going to slow down next week or next month. Or like, I don't know why I tell myself that, and it's not a bad thing. Like I enjoy being busy and, like when there's a lot going on, it's very fulfilling. So it's not a negative thing at all, but it's just funny how fast the weeks go. And it's just like, holy cow.
Well, I think what's interesting too, is we've even sat down and created the next goal or the next vision, right? Mm-hmm. And so we were planning, if we hit a certain financial number, in the next 30 to 45 days, we'd be going on a cruise, and not just any cruise, but like freaking awesome Disneyland Christmas cruise.
Disney cruise, not Disneyland.
Sorry. Disney Christmas cruise.
Maybe we'll go to Disney World. Who knows?
Oh, dude, that'd be sweet. I'd be down.
Let's add that.
Right. Let's design it. And we talked about it. And like, just so you guys know what we mean by like actually planning it is we've gone into the details and everything. And now it's up to us to go and live those moments so that our brains can actually like comprehend what it is we're going to be rewarding ourselves with.
We talked a lot about rewards, but we literally dived into like exactly what we would do on the cruise, exactly what excursion we would do, exactly where we would go, what like all the details and fun around it so that our unconscious minds now have like something to work towards that is enticing.
It's way cool.
So anyways.
Well, awesome. Well, with that being said, there is some exciting news. And before we jump into today's episode, I just wanted to let you all know that the Emerge coaching program has officially launched. And this is amazing. The coaching program has a lot to do with what we talk about on the podcast, but ultimately it has all the capabilities of making you your best self, making you win and win even bigger in your life. And so the goal here is to help you actually take control of your life and to understand who you are. It's amazing.
It's a lot. It's so fun. And I like, hopefully this is okay for me to say, Jesse, but we have some cool things in the works for like some of the initial, like the first few coaching clients that we have. So anyone that like is in on, I don't know if ground level is not the right term, but like the first few, like we're going to have some cool opportunities and incentives. And so stay tuned.
And also the retreats that we're going to be having too are going to be unreal.
Epic.
Just to kind of give you an idea, we've talked everything from like virtual skydiving to driving really awesome supercars. There's going
to be really cool experiences involved.
Yes.
And like fun, healing, fun, like just all of it. It's going to be great.
And the goal is to help you really discover that you are in fact a creator, right?
Yeah.
And you've been created in the image of God. God himself is a creator. And we're going to help you master creation in your life to fulfill and win and have the life you truly want. I'm super excited.
Before we go into the episode, while we're on the topic of the Emerge program, I was talking to somebody today, and someone that we go to church with, and we were just talking about, some of like the fears and negativity that is installed in our minds, and why it's so important to always try to remove those things. And it's fascinating because, like, you know, we are on this earth to learn and grow, and to, you know, we experience adversity and trials and things that happen. And, you know, if we recognize and realize the potential and tools we have, like, we can rise above any circumstance. And how, like, fear, doubt, all like those negative emotions that we've talked about, like, those aren't like necessarily, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not part of like our eternal being, right? Like, that's not how we're meant to feel. Like, we're meant to be on this earth and have joy and happiness and make that and find that and create it. And so that's, you know, a kind of a different perspective on some of what we're going to be doing and helping people, is like removing some of the negative feelings and finding like that motivation and that, I don't know, just the drive and the excitement to go after exactly what you want and to create it and to find the joy that's in that. So
it's going to be amazing.
Anyways,
it's going to cover all facets of your life. It's going to cover your individual understanding who you are, what you truly want, and really unlocking resources. In the meantime, also having a relationship aspect of helping you and your spouse or loved one really hone in on things and understand each other. And then my favorite is there is a business aspect for those that are entrepreneurs. And anyways.
Yeah, it's going to be
Emerge
great.
Emerge is going to be
it's going to
awesome.
Enrich your entire life, your whole everything.
And the best part is you get access with Ambry and I, and we get to talk and help you and really grow together. Plus, the community is awesome already.
It's going to be a great community.
So, anyways,
we're excited about that.
We're way excited. Ask us about Emerge Coaching, and then you'll continue to hear more throughout other podcasts about this and certain things that we've had with clients.
Yeah.
Ambry, I've got, starting today's episode,
you got a problem.
I
can feel it.
I've got
What's
a
the
big problem here. And you know, the problem is some of you that are listening want success, or you want a different way of life, but you have a repeated daily pattern. And I'm going to ask you, are you truly in control of your life? Or are you stuck in a repeated pattern?
And do you even believe that if you aren't currently in control, do you believe that you can be?
Ooh, good question. You know, here's the thing is, a lot of you guys, and I want you to think of your morning routine. You get up, right? And maybe some of you guys go and pour your pre-workout, your coffee, whatever caffeinated beverage. Maybe that's the first thing you do in the morning. Maybe you don't do that.
Or
Maybe
you rock the no caffeine life.
You rock the no caffeine life. Maybe some of you guys just get up and the first thing you do is use the restroom and then brush your teeth. You all have a morning routine, right? Mm-hmm. In fact, we have a good friend that has a nightly routine that's like 45 minutes long. and he'll tell you verbatim what that routine is. But all of us have a routine. And you know, what's interesting is that routine also translates into our day-to-day. So do you find yourself having similar conversations? Like when you walk by, hey, how are you? Yeah. Good, how are you? Okay, awesome. Good to see you. Yep, you too.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Very surface level conversations.
Routine, habit, yeah. It's not really meaningful.
Or maybe it's the same people you're talking to every single day, right? Mm-hmm. It's no one new. And interesting, maybe you're wearing the same style of clothes. Maybe it's just a different color polo or a different color blouse.
Yeah.
But it's similar in style.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about the car you drive? Radio station, podcast. Thanks for listening. You know, is it the same thing over and over and over?
Or like the route you take, or I was talking to someone at the gym the other day, one of the mornings that I went at like 5 a.m. and she's like, I was like, how are you doing? We have kids that go to gymnastics together, and she's like, hey, good for you being here in the morning working out. And she's like, I literally don't know how I got here. Yeah. She's like, I woke up and I'm here. And I'm like, isn't that interesting? Like your mind knows how to get you here without you even thinking about it, because you do this like several times a week. Like you don't even have to think about driving to the gym because your mind just does it for you.
Ooh, so I'm going to ask you this
It's
then.
so crazy.
If you've answered yes to these questions, and maybe some of you guys have gone through your personal routine, I'm going to ask you the question. Are you in control of your life then? Or have you allowed a habit to be in the driver's seat? I want you guys to think about that. I'm going to go through a scenario here, and we're going to explain some things a little bit as we get deeper. But why don't you all think of your morning routine? Okay, you wake up. All right. Maybe your child moved your toothpaste. It's in a different spot. Maybe
I went to take a shower today and couldn't find my shower cap.
Okay,
I
there
use
you
a
go.
shower cap most days
Okay.
when I don't wash my hair.
So it threw you out of routine.
And I was like, where's my shower cap?
So it throws you out of routine. All right. Maybe you go downstairs to get your caffeination, your caffeine, and it's out. It's empty.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
That's
that
a
was
sad
good
day for Jesse.
What if you get up, get to your car, and you go to start it on the same day, and all this is happening at once, and the car battery's dead?
Man.
Okay.
What a day.
Yeah, right? So instantly, what do you think would happen? Like, you get to that point, you're 30 minutes late to work because of all these things, because you had to stop, figure out your caffeine, right? You've got, like, you're scrambling at this point, and you're feeling a little flustered.
Yeah.
How would you start or describe your mood at that point?
I mean, I think like a typical response may be like, man, literally everything that could go wrong is going wrong.
Ooh.
Which, is it? Probably not. Like,
That's a good
not
question.
everything, right? But that's like, that's just kind of a blanket term that we sometimes use is like, man, everything's going wrong. Everything that could.
How are you feeling during that day? A day like that. Everything's gone.
Not in
Little
control,
haywire.
defeated,
Ooh,
Frustrated.
frustrated.
anxious. Like,
Some might even say, I'm just in a bad mood,
oh, yeah.
right? Okay, imagine like the one person you can't stand at work after all this has happened comes up and says something really, really stupid. And at that point, you're just like, I can't do this, right? Some of you guys may chalk that entire day up as a loss, right? Okay, So then I'm going to ask you, are you truly in control? Because all of these things have happened and it's thrown out your routine and it's thrown you into a funk. But why is it really throwing you into a funk? Is it because your body is in such a routine and such a complete habit that when something throws it out just a little bit, it doesn't know what to do and it's freaking out inside?
Uncomfortable and, yeah.
Okay, think about this. When you start to feel a certain way, science has proven that your brain releases chemicals and emotions into your brain. Okay? So out of your brain into your muscle tissues. And so it starts to affect you. You may start to get a little anxious, jittery. That's because your brain is releasing these chemicals throughout your body based off of the feedback that you're getting for the day. Okay? Now, those
Physical
chemicals,
and emotional responses are super, like,
Crazy.
aligned.
Yeah. Okay, so then those chemicals actually can take quite a bit of time to get out of your muscle tissue. All right, so some of you guys may go, oh, well, this happened, and then the next day sucks again, and it could be all because of the routine that's been thrown out, and maybe you are experiencing a week where it's like, this week has just been absolutely crap, right? Because these chemicals that are in your body have not released yet. Like, they are not out of your body. They're literally still in there circulating because of something that may have happened a few days ago. And it's because your body has felt so uncomfortable throughout that one moment that it's still sitting there stewing. Now, interesting enough, and science will prove this, and if you guys want to read a little bit more about this, the book that really has gone into detail about this is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
That's the one that you're in the middle of right now?
Yes, by Dr. Joe Dispenza.
So far, so good.
Great book. Recommend reading it, especially if you're wanting to understand a little bit more what Ambry and I are talking about. But Dr. Dispenza here, in his research, found that these chemicals that are in your body, they continue to stay there if you allow them. And then over time, it no longer becomes an emotional state. It actually becomes a personality if you allow it to be in there enough. So everyone has met this negative person, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, why is that person so negative? It's because something back in that time happened to that person, and the chemicals that the brain released never allowed them to break through. They just held on to it for over and over and over to the point where now their personality is looking for the negative. So I'm going to ask you again, are you really in control?
Can be.
Can be, but most people don't even understand this basic concept. So with that being said, I want to go a little bit deeper. Okay, we're going even further down into this because this episode has me just wired. I'm locked in here. But a lot of you guys have been taught that if you're religious, you have a spirit and you have a body. If you're not religious, maybe you've heard the concept before, and we invite you to be open to suggestions and to consider.
Or maybe you've heard it, explained in a different way or whatever.
Consider it this way. But some may even relate the body being what's called a natural man, and the spirit being of a higher state, a spirit being from God or whatever, right? So let's explore that. Now imagine if this was true. Once again, for those that don't believe this, just consider for a moment that your spirit and your body are connected, and your body was designed to keep you safe and actually keep you in a pattern of safety. Meanwhile, your spirit was meant to create and to become larger than that. And so your whole entire purpose on this earth is to figure out a mutual alignment between your body and your spirit.
Your body being essentially like a vessel that hosts the spirit, and that is your being, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously here our body is necessary to, go and do things. Yeah. And to create things. But yeah.
We all think about Harry Potter, where he starts to learn his magic skills a little bit, and it's whoa, this is weird, this is kind of funky. To kind of put that in perspective, imagine your spirit having that power. Imagine your body just kind of being there to keep you safe, and now you're trying to align the two together and truly understand. And that's what I want to suggest to you guys today to consider for a moment. Now, in order to really break through and feel experience and to feel joy, you've got to test your body. You've got to push your body and push those emotions a little bit.
Challenge it. Responses.
Yes.
And which is so cool. At first it might seem uncomfortable or, weird. We've talked about the ice bath, I think, in a few different episodes where, you jump in an ice bath and it's your body is what are you doing? Jump out. This is crazy. This isn't safe. But how you actually have the power in your mind to calm your body and to change that response and to be okay and to actually feel good and then get out of that ice bath feeling wow, incredible. And same thing with these types of responses or habit loops or whatever you want to call them, challenging them is completely possible and completely doable. Yeah. And you can do it. But, at first it might seem holy cow, what am I doing? And you'll receive some feedback and things where it's is this actually the right thing? Because it seems I don't know. I guess an example is sometimes when you want to do something or there's a goal you have or something that you're excited about, and then 10 people around you are oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, this, oh, that, similar type of thing. When you're trying to change a habit loop or a response, your body or your, previous programs might be wait a minute, what are we doing? Why are we doing it this way? What's happening? Why are we changing this?
We've all been there on the high dive at the swim pool.
Maybe.
The swim pool. No, when we're at the swimming pool and we've been at the high dive and we've looked down and all of a sudden every fear and every feeling you've ever had hits. Yeah. And some people are I'm just going to jump, right? Some people just say, I'm just going to do it. And then there's others. I think of when you and I went rock jumping and
cliff
jumping in the Dominican Republic. And one of the things I remember, you're oh my gosh, can I do it? Can I do it? And it's you're going to do it. Just do it. No, I don't know, right?
It's you watch the guide, the tour guide do it. you watch someone else do it, like, like this has been like studied and created, and like it's not like you're in like a completely unknown or uncharted area, right? Like it's safe. I mean, maybe a little crazy, but like it's okay, and really like you'll be fine, and you can see that based on watching someone else do it, right? Mm-hmm. But still, your like body and your mind are going like, this is unnatural, this is different, this is not normal, like this is not something we have done before or don't usually do. And so that's why those like, physical and emotional responses kick in.
But how do you feel after you've jumped off the cliff?
I mean,
you come up out of the water,
like unreal.
right? And you feel euphoric almost, right? Mm-hmm. Because you've literally conquered all.
You did it. You're like,
yeah.
Yeah.
You've literally conquered all of the feelings, doubts, emotions, fears, all these things, and you did it. And a new feeling has happened in your body of like, oh my gosh, I will do that again, right? Mm-hmm. You guys, I want you to think about your body being an addict. Like, and some of you, like, that may hit a little bit close to home, and I understand that. Being a son of a father who was a drug addict, like, this really does hit close to home, but it helps me understand more of what I'm actually explaining.
I think all of us have experienced some kind of like, maybe not all of us, but I think that it's not uncommon to experience some kind of like addiction in
something,
some kind of circle, whether it's a close friend, a family member, yourself, like, there's always something that, for good or bad, like
So I want you to imagine your body being an addict. It literally is. Like, don't even imagine, like, this is true. Your body's an addict, and it's an addict to feeling comfortable based off of how you've lived in the past. So if you know that jumping off a cliff is bad, right? Or maybe you had a bad fall off a cliff and that was not comfortable for you, your body is going to bring that to your forefront of your mind when you're standing at the end of the cliff. It's going to happen every time.
Yeah.
Same thing
and we're not suggesting jumping off cliffs.
No.
It's a good idea.
But like cliff jumping into water, like in the Dominican, right?
Yeah, this specific like excursion and situation was completely like safe and okay. And like, but still, it's like, what are we doing? This is, this is crazy.
Well, let's break it down to a social setting, okay? Someone gets up to sing at, a choir performance, and they absolutely bosh it. Like, they hit the squeaky note, they sound terrible, people laugh at them, right? Okay, that person is now back at the front stage, getting ready to go on and hit that and go for it again, right? Different time. What do you think's coming to the front of their mind?
The last time.
The last time, right? Because this person's living in the past, and the body, your body does not recognize the future, right? Because that's foreign. Unless you go in and actually create memories like we've talked about, and create kinesthetic memories of thoughts, feelings.
Yeah,
like
video
what does
and
it look
audio
like?
And kinesthetic data.
Exactly. And if you don't do that...
Not video, visual.
Visual
audio.
But if you don't do that, your body can't live in the future.
Yeah.
And it won't live in the present. It only lives in the past. Therefore, when you get up...
What it knows.
Exactly, what it knows. And so when you get up to the stage, all of these feelings, all of this is going to happen again. And I think of like the Kobe Bryant airballing in the playoffs. He hit 3 airballs in one game, right? That could break someone. That could have ruined a career. And for those that are actually following basketball, Ben Simmons right now is going through that. Like where his entire career is crumbling before him because he's afraid to shoot the ball.
Wow.
Interesting, right? Because of all these past things. Now, this is what we're talking about with your body, is your body brings these things to the forefront of your mind because it's addicted to feeling comfortable.
Yeah, and feeling protected, right?
Yes,
like this,
feeling safe.
It's serving a purpose of like protection and safety. And in some cases, that's a great thing. And it's, exactly what should be and needs to be. However, consider like in other situations, it might actually be holding you back. And it might actually be, while maybe has the illusion of protecting you, you're actually halted, or you're creating a roadblock for yourself between you and what you actually want to create and what you want to do. I know.
And what you want in general.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. But just like Jesse mentioned earlier, the excursion we went on where we got to like slide through these really cool like rock structures and jump off of rocks into water. Like that was such a cool experience. And like he said afterwards, it was like, oh wow, like that was amazing. Mm-hmm. So glad we did that, even though it seemed like to challenge our, comfort.
Yeah.
And like I can 100% attest to this, like in like a not only physical way but emotional way. Like I've had previous physical and emotional responses to current, or like it's not current, to specific social situations where like my body was addicted to, in those situations, feeling super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And my body would literally like respond, and like my heart rate would go up. I would feel uncomfortable. I would like my heart rate goes up. I feel anxious, like I'm frustrated, and like I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but I do. And then I would feel fearful. So like my physical response, but then also my emotional response of feeling fearful, and even like imagining or considering things that weren't even true, but like, just being afraid.
Right.
And like when I really something I had worked on for a long time, but until I really like dove into understanding like the programs of that and believing that I could change that.
Yeah.
Like until then, like I literally like, even though I would try, like I was still, like Jesse said, like addicted to those responses because it was like natural and normal in that, at that time. But being able to like recognize those things and reprogram like the mindset and remove the fear and remove the doubt, all of a sudden, like I have been in the same social situations as before and had no heart rate surge, no fear, no doubt, like, and even maybe if for a second it was overcome by like my calm and, confidence and assuredness. And so, I guess I just share that because like it's 100% possible, like whether it's physical, emotional, whatever that habit loop or response is, like it is 100% possible to be in control and to change it, which I think is so powerful because I mean, man, we've talked about this several times, but it's so accepted to just fall into like a loop or acceptance of like, this is just how it is. Like, I can't do anything about it. But how empowering to realize and understand that you can do something about it. Yeah. And when you do, the feeling is unreal. Absolutely unreal. Absolutely. Better than any hit on the previous response that your body was addicted to.
Well, and then your body starts to change and become addicted to the feeling of the euphoria and that I can do this, right? And then your body starts to go, oh, I like that feeling better, even though it's a little nerve-wracking. I like that feeling better.
So I think you should go into sharing like a current situation that you're dealing with and experiencing that applies directly to this, and trying to break a.
How can we coach others if we don't do this ourselves, right?
Actively?
Yes.
And it's not something like, oh, I did that once, woohoo, go me. Like
it's every day.
If you want, you can constantly be challenging your habit loops and your comfort and what you believe you're capable of.
So let's jump in. This one's fun, and I'm going to share details with you because you deserve it. Like as a listener, I want you guys to really like consider what's going on in my brain, right, for a moment. Yeah. But when Ambry and I bought our first supercar, we bought a McLaren, and
we had never owned anything like that before, ever. That was like completely new, and honestly, in my mind at that point, crazy.
The payment on it was $1,600 a month, which is a lot of money. Okay.
And at the time, we justified that by like, oh, this is what we're spending on a lot of our marketing every month. Let's shift our marketing budget, do this, do something fun for our business and friends and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And that really broke through for us. And we saw a lot of cool return. In fact, we loved that car more than we've ever loved any car.
More than we thought. I was like, this is dumb. I hate cars.
Because
but I
really
loved
what
it.
we talked about here is we pushed the envelope and did something we'd never done before, right?
Yeah.
So we absolutely love that car. Well, the time has come that the McLaren has served its purpose.
Surprise.
And there's more out there. And so as we started looking and realizing what was out there and what was fitting our needs and what we truly wanted, we realized that the payment on the McLaren was going to go up on whatever car it was going to be. And we looked at some Lamborghini Uruses, we've looked at some Audi R8s, and we ended up buying a Porsche. And the payment on that Porsche is $2,400 a month. It's a mortgage, you guys. Like, that's what I thought.
I mean, right now that's kind of a low mortgage, but
right. So,
but that's like, yeah,
it's the equivalent of what we pay for our house.
Yeah,
which is a mortgage, right? So I want you guys to all think about that for a minute. You get the paperwork, and all of a sudden, it's a $2,400 a month payment.
Your heart starts racing. You're like, what am I doing?
What the heck?
This is new. This is different.
Right. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, you're going to do this. You're not going to do this. And I remember specifically just going through, you know what? What am I not considering here? And I remember telling you this, like, there's things I'm not considering that will have more of a gain for me if I do this. And so we ended up signing the paperwork on it. The next morning, at 3 a.m, I woke up with my heart just pounding out of my chest.
Really?
Just absolutely like,
I didn't know that.
What in the heck did you just do? Like, my body was feeling extremely uncomfortable, and it was telling me full force. And this is normal, you guys. Like, this is what everyone's going to be feeling. But 3 a.m, I wake up, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So what did I do? I regrouped and started saying, you know what? I know what this car tastes like, feels like. Tastes like. I know what the air tasted like when I was in the car. Right? And I started going through the kinesthetics, and then I started going through, you know what's more important to me is the feeling of excellence. When I jump in that car, it's going to have a higher feeling. It's going to have more importance to me because of what I'm paying and what I'm sacrificing, and most importantly, what kind of risk and the bet I took on myself.
Yeah.
And as I started going through that and reminding myself, you did this with the McLaren and you've been fine.
That's what I was going to say. The interesting thing is, like, a year and a half ago, or just over a year ago, like, same thing with the McLaren. Like, I remember feeling the same kind of like, oh my gosh, like, what are we doing? Even though, like, at the time we were like, well, we're already spending this money. We're just shifting it in a different way and hoping that it works, right? The hoping that it works the way that we have envisioned in our mind. And it did. Yep. But at the time it was like, oh my gosh, like, what are we doing? And then again, same situation. Like, these responses have to be constantly like challenged, because it's not like it just, I mean, it could become more natural, right? And it will. But like, if you take another huge leap, once again, your body's going to be like, well, wait, what we were doing was comfortable. Like, all of a sudden that McLaren payment seemed like cheap. Yeah. Even though, like,
Well, and what's interesting with it too is there's another level. With the McLaren, we're able to just pay cash for the down payment. Mm-hmm. Now our money's leveraged in other investments, and we are running lean, and the opportunity to make the down payment, like, I know I need this car, but the cash isn't there. So what are we doing? We're putting it on a credit card at 26% interest, right? Like, yeah. I wish we had the video so you could see Ambry's reaction, right? Because it's the truth. So
I didn't even know that, if you want the true honest. I just found that out when you did.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Woo, cool.
But that's the thing, is the down payment on this car now has gone on a credit card, which has now pushed and motivated me to the next level of I've got to pay this off. You guys, this is scary. Sure, there's a lot of feeling behind it, but the power and the consistent need to be excellent in all manner of my life has increased. This entire week, I have looked in the mirror and felt different. I've experienced different emotions, and I also came to you with an idea this morning of, instead of doing one thing, we're going to do another to create more cash flow. And you and I were like, oh my gosh, that's actually a really good idea. Let's do that. right?
Yeah. Instead of selling one of the cars we were going to sell, we're going to put it on Turo and cash flow it. But
Right.
I think I think it's really important to note here, though, that like we are neither suggesting or not that you like go just put a bunch of stuff on a credit card. Like that's not
don't do that.
The suggestion here, but it's that like this specific move and this decision for Jesse was so crucial and important because of the time and energy and like desire behind it, right? Like Jesse had gone and like designed this there's reward attached to this. And so like it's going to work and it's going to be successful and it's going to empower and cause Jesse the ability to go and make a ton of money.
Ironically, the car is coming the first, like the same week that we've launched Merge Coaching.
Yeah. So I guess just what I wanted to say is like, it's like, we're not saying like, go do something crazy that you haven't really thought about or put any, like
effort into.
You need to design and understand and have the data and give your unconscious mind like data to propel you forward. And what is that choice and what is that decision or that thing you're buying? What is it going to do for you? And create that. And then, you'll make it happen and the resources will become available and it will make sense however you decide to do it. But
I'm going to challenge you too, because when this happens, when you go take on something massive and you have no idea how you're going to do it, your unconscious mind starts to flood and go into hyperdrive, literally hyperdrive, and start to create different ideas and thoughts. And I will tell you guys, from the time that I've signed the paper to now, I have had more ideas and more opportunities come and sit down on my plate. I mean, there's another situation right now where we could go accumulate a house for around $80,000 and have the house significantly lower than what most people would be paying right now. I don't have $80,000. We don't have $80,000. But all of a sudden, my mind's like, yes, you need this house too. Here's the person you need to talk to. One text message, and all of a sudden, that $80,000 is right there.
Yeah.
And that's because, but I'm not trying to tell you, like, yes, I've studied this out in my mind and I've thought and I've talked to people, but the ideas that come to your mind,
the resources become available when you go about it the right way.
And it's unreal. It's like, the best way to explain it is like you take an amazing shot of pre-workout right before the gym and you are just like, whoa, like you ready to go. And that's what these thoughts are. And that's the coolest part about it is your brain and your unconscious mind is literally fulfilling all the pieces because you've taken a risk on yourself, because what your unconscious mind goes is, oh my gosh, Jesse, you're rewarding yourself big time here.
Yeah.
And we've got resources, but we have to now stretch because where we're currently at, we can't maintain that.
Yeah.
So we got to stretch.
And that's fantastic because we were actually talking to my brother about this last night, where it's like you can set a goal and you may be able to achieve that goal, may or may not, just depending on, like your motivation and the rewards you created around it, right? And let's say you hit that goal and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to try even harder. I'm going to go a little bit more. So you set another goal that's just a little higher. Well, what do you think is going to happen? What is your unconscious mind going to do? You're going to look at that goal and say, okay, like we can do that. It's not that far of a reach. We just need to work harder. And so that's what will happen is you'll work harder and you'll probably reach that goal. But you had to work harder to do it. And so the principle behind setting a goal that's seems nearly impossible, right?
Yeah.
It almost seems crazy. But if you install the right data and have the right mindset around it, your unconscious mind now goes okay, I believe we can get to this goal. Mm-hmm. However, we can't just work harder to do it. There's not enough time in the day just to work harder and reach this goal. So now what? Now we need to go out and we need to look and find other resources, create new opportunities, things that we haven't even considered or thought of. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden those things begin to flow because you have convinced your unconscious mind that we need this. This is our goal. We got to get there. Yeah. And if you can't just work harder to do it, the opportunities and the resources will flow. I mean, have you ever looked at someone and just been like, how the freak do they make millions of dollars? Like, it's not like they have more time in the day than I do. Like, they have a family like I do, like this or that. You just think like, that's crazy. Like, they must just be super lucky, or they must just like, maybe they, like, their parents left them with a ton of money. I don't know. Like, so many things might run through your mind. But what if they've just unlocked the resources to not work harder, but to have more resources flow to them and more opportunities, just because they are challenging their habit loops. They're challenging their comfort and their, anyways.
If you were thrown a pit of snakes, you'd figure out how to get out of that pit really, really
oh my
fast.
gosh,
You'd become ultra resourceful, right? And that's what you've got to do to yourself, right? I'm not saying you've got to like go take on a massive payment for a car.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is your goal and the things you're doing has to be big enough to get there and to unlock resources. Mm-hmm. Like you said, if it's just like, oh, well, my max weight I'm lifting is 135 as a bench press. I want to get to 205. And you just start working harder. That's not really going to unlock it. Now, if you say, yo, I want to hit like 300, 305. Now all of a sudden you're going to start training and looking into things more because it's accelerating you, right?
Yeah.
And that's what the whole purpose of this is. And you guys, the key to getting out of the habit loop is to push yourself. It's to have a destination. It's to have a goal in mind. You better believe, like, the Porsche hasn't even showed up yet. It's supposed to come.
It's on its way.
It's supposed to be
on its way right now.
It's supposed to be today or tomorrow, since we're recording this. And I remember coming up the stairs and going, all right, Ambry, next car is a Lamborghini Urus, right? And the payment on that's $3,500. And I'm already planning ahead and visualizing what that Lamborghini is going to look like. It's going to be lime green interior with black. It's going to have a Starry Night roof. What's it going to feel like? Well, the steering wheel is going to be suede. It's going to feel really nice, and it's going to be heated, and it's going to be cooled, right? And it's going to have a nice smell of leather. What's it going to taste like? I don't know yet. Maybe it's going to taste like a Coke Zero with lime, because that's what I'm going to be picking up at the same time I'm picking up the Lamborghini. I don't know. But you guys, that's what I'm talking about, being so detailed, right?
And that's important. Having that data is important because you're giving your unconscious mind specific reward and what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the
word.
You're
just being ultra detailed in what you want. And you're creating what is, instead of
enticing, you're enticing your unconscious mind.
You're creating a thought that is so tangible. It's now a memory, right? It's a memory as opposed to just an idea.
Yeah.
And your brain is more motivated by memories. If we asked you, hey, what was your favorite vacation? You would be able to tell us verbatim what the favorite vacation is and what made it so amazing.
You could go plan it and execute that exact same vacation easy.
Oh, easy.
Because you're I've done that. It's,
Exactly.
Whereas maybe the first time you planned and did that vacation, it was oh, I don't know what this is going to be like, what it looks like.
Yeah.
You took a step out and did something new. But then next time you go oh, we could do that vacation again like that because we did it and we know. And it's, now it seems easy.
Yeah.
Same thing with installing a memory into your unconscious mind, a future memory where it's so real and seems so tangible, like Jesse said, that it's oh, we can do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem impossible anymore because
it's incentivizing.
It's there.
It's amazing. And so the next step is once the Porsche comes, drive to the Lamborghini shop, ask to sit in the Lamborghini Urus, and actually drive the Lamborghini so you get the full force. Yeah. And not only that, but wear the shirt you're going to wear and be very specific. When you pick up that Lamborghini, what's the shirt you're going to wear? What's the clothes? And just live that memory, that moment. And the more specific you get, the more enticed your mind becomes, and that starts to unlock. And you guys want a secret of what millionaires do? This is exactly it.
They get uncomfortable.
They get extremely
uncomfortable. You get
uncomfortable.
super uncomfortable, or you get super comfortable being uncomfortable.
And not only that, but they know their next step. They know exactly what it is. And they know what they're going after. And they're so motivated by that one thing. And then by the time that thing is done, they have a list, you guys, like thousands of items that they want in extreme detail. We've sat in courses, and some of these people have a list of 1,000 things, and they are rewarding themselves along the way, improving the odds, and naturally it's unlocking more resources.
Yeah.
It's so freaking cool to watch, and it seems easy and effortless. It is. You just have to apply yourself.
It can be.
It really can be. So, you guys, what a cool episode. And,
thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for hanging out with us on this. Shoot me good vibes on this $2,400, $2,400 payment,
By the time this episode launches in 3 or 4 days, hopefully you'll see a picture of Jesse with
you'll be
with
seeing
our new
it.
Porsche.
You'll be seeing it. And, I challenge you guys, one thing to think about is start to look at things from a different angle. When people are doing something like this, when they're driving the car that you want, instead of looking at it as, man, what a rich douche, for the lack of a better word.
Or just that
him.
must be nice. Or,
right.
Oh, I could never have that.
Look at it as, wow, that person has gone after what they wanted and they're motivated. And
I should know them. What do they do?
Right. Open up, because those resources are going to change too.
Yeah. And once again, remove that fear, guilt, doubt, whatever it is, and turn it into curiosity.
Yeah.
And love and all the good things.
I love it. If you like what you hear, leave us a 5-star review. Yeah. Also, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Fisco Frenzy or at Mr. Utah Real Estate if you have any questions about Emerge coaching. There will be more marketing and things opening up as of right now. We've taken on a few clients.
Yeah, we're in a soft launch.
We're in a very
phase
soft launch,
but
and
super excited about it.
The feedback we've gotten, one of the people that is associated with us in the Emerge coaching platform has literally launched and started a mobile detailing business, and within 2 weeks
has already booked clients and
is like, dude, this is awesome, right? Like, I think he got even a $40 tip, and I think he's made $1,000 in 3 washes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, way cool. And that's the kind of stuff that we're teaching people to emerge, is that you literally just need to emerge and break through your current self, and there's more opportunity out there.
It's inside you. You just got to find it and unlock it.
And that's what we're hoping to do to help other people. So leave us a 5-star review. Follow us for more. And
thanks for being here.
We appreciate it and hope you have a fantastic week.
Until next time.